There's a debate between David and I Hypocrite. I heard that I Hypocrite name before, but I don't really know who he is.
Hey everybody, tonight we're debating whether or not lolicons are pedos, and we are starting right now with LP, aka I Hypocrite's opening statement. Thanks so much for being with us, LP. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, hey James, great to be here.
Oh, so he's called LP.
And lolicon is a portmanteau of the words Lolita and complex. Lolita refers to the book, of course, by the Russian author, in which a middle-aged man sexually abuses a 12-year-old girl. It's one of the most famous works of fiction that involve pedophilic interests. And the word complex, which refers to a psychological complex, which could be defined as like a preoccupation or an obsession. So the word lolicon, the root etymology of the word, means a obsession with underage sex. In addition to that, and this was the one...
I actually have this book that the book is talking about. I have that right here, physical. I don't think it's an early edition or anything. It might have been a reprint, but I think that's the book he's talking about.
Part I wanted to do a screen share for, so let me get that going. But anybody can also try this at home. It doesn't work on phones from what I tried, but it does work on
he's going to use the Google.
Computer. Hopefully you guys can see.
He's using the Google.
To google.com.
Using Google Translate. Like everyone else.
And in Google, I type in English to Japanese. And then in the English box, I type in lolicon. It's going to translate into lolicon. But then they got these little two arrows here I can click to reverse the translation back. And you're going to see it translates back to lolicon, but below here it gives us a definition. And the definition says a noun, pedophile, and then below that it says sexual attraction to children. So
okay. To be fair, this is an opening statement, so I guess this is what he's going to open with. Okay. It's something to start with.
So Google defines the term lolicon as a sexual attraction.
Bro, not a Google Translate.
Now, how do I stop my screen share here? Stop video? No, that's not it. Well, it's weird because it always like minimizes the thing. You do it on your side, please. So, okay, so the reason
I like how David is just an AI.
As a pedophile who has a sexual attraction to children, which is redundant, but I guess they really wanted to drive the point home, is because that's how it's used in Japan, where the term comes from. So if you, again, you could try this in Google. If you type in lolicon teachers, you're going to get some stories that come up in your results of
lolicon
teachers in Japan who are perving on their students, sexually molesting their students, you know, taking photos in the bathroom, stuff like that. And these are going to be published on websites like JapanToday.
Is that normal? Is it normal that are all the teachers actually doing that? If you're going to drag in about sexual numbers, then he's got a pretty weak defense or offense in this case, because Japan is ranked pretty high on the safest country in the world, right? Like top 5 of the safest sexual abuse country. And where does America lie? I don't fucking know.
.com or TokyoReporter.com. These are Japanese media outlets reporting on the issue they're having there, which is the teachers who are perving on the real life human students that they have. And it's such a problem, they've had to come up with, you know, a battery of like psychological tests that they give to people who are trying to become teachers to make sure that they aren't pedophiles. You know, and again, those are real students that they're perving on, but they call them lolicon teachers. That's how they describe them. Now, what we're talking about for the purpose of this debate is a little bit different. This refers to I guess you could call it a fandom, I don't know, but we're talking about the Japanese art form, the manga, anime style drawings of girls. And there's a range when it comes to this stuff. So there's the stuff that's fairly innocuous, and that maybe you're not necessarily a pedophile just because you like it. You know, you can almost even say it's wholesome. Like when I was a kid, we had Sailor Moon. That was a cartoon I watched as a kid, and I wouldn't say that you're necessarily a pedophile just because you watch Sailor Moon. Although if a grown man was watching Sailor Moon, I probably wouldn't let him babysit my kids just to be safe. But on the other end of the spectrum, we have just explicitly, graphically obscene depictions of children being raped.
Sailor Moon is like 10 years, isn't she?
This is pornographic material that is created for people to masturbate to. Again, it's drawings and animations depicting just graphic and obscene, sexual activities.
Let's just listen to the opening statements.
It doesn't have to involve children, but this is what I'm talking about for the purpose of the debate. So for the purpose of this debate, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not going to argue about the stuff that's in the gray area unless my opponent wants to concede that the hardcore...
I went to Japan and nothing happened crime-wise. I left my phone in a restaurant by accident and the runner gave it back. Oh yeah, Japan is really good at taking care of the guests. The hospitality level is amazing.
Axiomatic worldview that these lolicons hinge on is that nothing you do in the realm of fiction can be immoral.
Though I believe that is more with the upbringing they have.
And so because of that, he can't.
They live their whole lives being submissive, right?
Children are pedophilic. So that's where we're going to talk about the explicit stuff. We're not going to waste our time in the gray area. Now, I've had the pleasure or misfortune of kicking the lolicon nest once or twice on Twitter already. So I'm already familiar with the common arguments that they like to make to defend their repugnant.
Oh, so he's been doing this for a while, right? And he's very familiar with the argument. Which I guess I can probably pick one or two from the head. I guess he's going to pull out the 1,000-year-old dragon thing, right? I mean, who actually used that argument? It's not a joke. Do people actually do that?
Hobby, and most of these arguments are so bad that I'm not going to even bother talking about them right now. If my opponent wants to bring them up,
he's not going to talk on it right now. Okay,
but
he'll bring them up later.
I guess what I would personally consider to be the strongest argument that they have, which is they like to say how there's no scientific research which links liking these drawings to being a pedophile. Now, as far as I know, that is true. That research hasn't been done. A bunch of lab coats haven't gotten together and done the phallometric testing required to determine whether or not the people who like these cartoons are sexually attracted to children. The research hasn't been done at all, so it hasn't been proven in that exact direct sense that they are pedophiles. And of course, it hasn't been proven that they are. Of course, here in the debate field, we know that the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. So just because that research doesn't exist doesn't mean that there isn't the link there.
Yeah, he's kind of right there. Just because there's no research, or what was it? Just because there's no evidence doesn't mean that there is necessarily mean there is no research, right? To be fair, all kind of research, you never truly know the answer. New answer seems to pop up all the time. So even if he was right on this part, he might just be wrong in the future. But this is kind of all we have to go on right now. And I kind of believe that, yeah, there shouldn't be any link. There is a possibility that there are some people who does have the link, but I would say it'd be more like in a minority. I'm not even sure if there is a link, or more likely it's just code, right? I let him finish talking. And it's David's turn soon.
That just hasn't been explicitly tested in a research lab setting. Having said that, there is enough research on this stuff that as long as we're willing to use our own cognition and connect a few dots, we can show that, in fact, science does tell us that lolicons are pedophiles. And that's what I'm going to do for you right now. So the first thing you have to know is that studies on child porn, real quote unquote child porn with real children, these studies have shown a few things. The first off is that there's a high correlation between people who look at child porn and molesting children. Really high, in fact, as high as like 85% according to some studies. The second thing you need to know is that a child pornography offense, so somebody who's been sent to prison or convicted of a child pornography crime, it's been determined by some of the world's foremost experts in pedophilia that is a valid diagnostic indicator for being a pedophile. In fact, what they found is that looking at child porn is a better indication that somebody is a pedophile than actually having molested a child. Now, to the uninitiated, that might seem strange. You might think, well, obviously, if
that is strange.
Child, you're a pedophile, which I would agree. But to be a clinically diagnosed pedophile, you have to have a preference for children. So some people could molest children, but not necessarily prefer children as their sexual partners. Somebody who looks at child porn, that indicates that they almost certainly do have a preference for underage sexual partners.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. The act doesn't prove their interest, but their interest does prove your interest. Like, well, I'm not sure how to say this, but it sounds right. You can do things without actually being interested in it. But what kind of scenario would even lead to that? How do you molest someone without actually wanting to molest them?
Okay, so that's the first thing you got to know. The second thing is that
opportunist
people in all civilized Western countries have been
maybe just to jack off, I guess. It doesn't matter who, huh?
Trafficking or possessing this material that
a hole. Is that it?
Material. So we have convictions for people here in the United States of America, in Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, and many other places. So we can really take this and put it into a
let me bring up our
syllogism where we would say P1, being convicted of a child porn crime is an indicator of pedophilia. P2, trafficking in this material we're talking about, the obscene depictions of children and sexual activities, is a child porn crime for which you can go to jail. C, conclusion, lolicons are pedophiles. And the last thing I'll add to that, and I'm just about finished my opening, but the last thing I'll add is that Ray Blanchard, one of the people involved in the studies on pedophilia, one of those foremost experts, he did a paper where he suggested changes to the DMSD5 or whatever it's called.
Most opportunist offenders, the reason through what they do are various.
Determine how to diagnose these conditions. And he suggested that for diagnosing pedophiles, you should treat any kind of attraction to fictional or fake children the same way as you would treat looking at real child porn. So that was a recommendation from one of the experts. And there was also an Ask Me Anything on Reddit that a doctor did, a psychologist who treats children the same way as you would treat looking at real child porn. So that was a recommendation from one of the experts. And there was also an Ask Me Anything on Reddit that
Okay. I'm eating right now, but this is too much to swallow. Okay. I'm not used to swallowing. Reddit. Okay. I don't think I have any particular comment on that. Yeah, the same Reddit that banned people saying groomers. Oh, yeah, maybe. Okay, buddy. Opening statement. What do you want?
A doctor did, a psychologist who treats pedophiles in Germany. He said he's been treating pedophiles for 9 years, and he didn't ask me anything. And somebody asked him, "What do you think of this lolicon manga stuff?" And his answer was to say that he thinks that it indicates you're a pedophile, and it leads to increased likelihood to look at real stuff. So he said he thought it was like a stepping stone that pedophiles use that then will lead them to more likely to look at actual children being sexually abused. So that's my opening argument. Lolicons are obviously pedophiles. I rest my case.
Okay, there's a little bit to unpack here. So I guess I can't understand where he came from, or where the doctor, the expert, came from. It could look like a stepping stone, right? To be a little bit fair, I'm giving him a little bit of a fairness. From an outside perspective, it does look like a stepping stone. Because if you think a little about it, nobody developed a fetish on day one. Everyone starts at sex at some point. Like, interest in sex starts at 0. You just want to get your dick wet or your pussy filled. I don't care, right? And then it just goes on there. That's usually how it looks like. So it would naturally be easy to assume that the stepping stone, lolicon would be a stepping stone there. I'm not sure if you can be born a pedophile or born a macho, born sadist. I feel like you have to develop into there. So I can see where the concern is, right? Now, I certainly, clearly, I don't believe it is a stepping stone, but I can see how they will think that. I'm not sure it is possible to convince them when they have that mindset to begin with. Besides, I heard that this guy doesn't like porn to begin with, so this is just not an opponent anyone wants to fight with. It doesn't sound like a winning. But then again, in my opinion, a debate is not about winning or losing anyway. It is about understanding each other. So I am understanding him a little bit, right? Nature versus nurture. It's hard to tell if someone is born like that or their upbringing influenced them to become what they became. Yeah, something like that. Hot topic for psychologists. At least it has been proved that you can be born gay, I guess. Actually, I'm still not really sure about that, but I don't really care either way in that regard. Moving on. Damn it! They did what? They separate identical twins? What the yes, experiment did people do back then? Jesus Christ.
Thank you very much for that opening statement, LP. And want to let you know, folks, if it's your first time here at Modern Day Debate, we are a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. We hope you feel welcome no matter what walk of life you are from. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as we have plenty more debates coming up. For example, On the bottom right of your screen, Alex Stein and Hunter Avalone collide. This is coming up in the next month. You don't want to miss it. The topic is still being negotiated.
Who are these, sir?
Button so you don't
I don't
miss
know
anything.
them.
With that, thanks so much for being with us. Evad, the floor is all yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, that experiment sounds horrible. Oh, fuck. Well, that sounds pretty human.
Tell me when you are able.
Oh, shit. That's right. Davey brought out the fucking PowerPoint. He's presenting for class, everyone. Okay, listen up.
To see it.
Yep, we can see it crystal clear.
Okay, let's start off defining pedophilia since we are talking about something
He brought the
equal to another thing.
Damn it, Davey.
The pedophilic disorder is
Davey.
described under the DSM-5, and that's an objective definition. That's not a legal definition. That is a clinical definition. You need to have attraction, recurrent attraction to a prepubescent child that has less than 13 years old. And some people doesn't know, but even if you are a minor, you can be diagnosed with it.
He's bringing up
If you
the
are
entire
17.
lexicon.
It's clear that even though what he said is correct, there is one expert that said that, hey, maybe fictional children, they should be included in the diagnosis. What is actually put it forward and actually come out as the definition is that biological children should be the ones that make up for the diagnosis. Because when you put up like fictional children, what is a completely messy concept that you cannot put yourself behind it, and they'll show it more forward, is you kind of get anything, literally anything that you subjugate as a child. And sociological children, as a like a legal child or someone that is like 70 years old, does not classify someone as a pedophile because they are already post-pubescent. We agree on that, okay? Is fourth paraphilic disorders, as any disorder, there is two criteria that has to be met to actually diagnose somebody with it. And the first criteria is harm. The disorder must cause harm. In pedophilia, it is obvious that cause harm because child cannot consent to the act. So when the pedophilic engages on it, he's molesting or raping a child. Is raping by definition. And dysfunction, as in you have to not be able to complete the intended situation, like what is supposed to be doing with sex, reproduction. You cannot reproduce with a prepubescent child, so it's dysfunctional. One other thing is that
you can't reproduce it. Okay, right. Yeah, his English is not his first language, so I had to take some time there.
is interesting is that on the Japanese side that goes about pedophilia, they stated that lolicon is clearly misconstructed and not recognized as different and is misunderstood by the general public, but it is different. Now let's go defining lolicon. First of all, I need to make a small correction on the definition. It's a slang word, so there is no objective clinical definition of it. But I want to say that these two characters right here, there's 9-year-old and 8-year-old, they are not lolis. Regardless.
Well. Oh my god. She's 9 and she's 8. Damn it, artists, why are you doing this to us? Okay, let's read here. Lolicon, anime girls, more design, young looking, relatively short, generally small breasts. That sounds about right. We can all agree on these 4 points, right? In Japanese culture, lolicon, also romanized as lolicon or lolicom, is a genre of fictional media in which young or young-looking girl characters appear in romantic or sexual contexts. The term is a portmanteau of the... Oh, okay, he didn't bring... Okay, great.
They are young, stated young. They do not look like a loli. So the loli is an aesthetic. It's not a age number that you just put on a character or a title. Because of this difference of age and what is a lolly, you can be considered a lolicon for somebody that's older than you. So that obviously set it apart from being a pedophile. The pedophile need to be at least 5 years of age gap of the person, higher, and there is a source. What is a complex? Complex is a obsession, like he said. That's correct. Is obsession, infatuation, and it is not necessarily sexual. You don't need to be sexually stimulated to have a complex. This is an example of somebody saying that they love their brother. They're not saying they want to fuck their brother. They're saying that they want to have a good relationship. They love their brother. It's just a obsession they have because they really fond of their brother. And there you go. You can have lolicons.
Mm.
There are not necessarily NSFW about it.
Okay, so this seems to be the counterpoint to iHypocrite's wording definition of Lolita complex, right? So, iHypocrite, or LP as I call him, argues that Lolita complex is a sexual obsession with little girls. And Davy is countering that by saying it is actually just an obsession with little girls. And the thing is that it's also lolly. So it's an obsession with the anime small lolly girls. So this is what I got from it. And I suppose, yes, that I can agree with your question. That sounds like the definition we are all used to. So what the fuck does he bring here? Asexual. A teen.
And that's how you get a sexual lolicons. They are of course hair and they're not
Oh,
normal type, but they exist. So is
asexual lolicons. That's the thing.
So what would be lolicon scientifically? Here's a paper.
Yeah, asexual lolicons do exist. I just haven't really seen that many of them because my circle is full of horny fucks. Maybe some of you guys aren't like that, but the majority are like that, so I can see why it can be a little bit difficult to not see it that way.
There's a peer-reviewed paper that classifies attractions towards cartoons, especially in Japanese media, as fictophilia. You can call it many different names, as tunophilia, as scenophilia, fictophilia, but generally that's how it is classified scientifically. And in anime, we know that pedophilia is completely different as Lolita complex because Lolita complex is a completely
He's using that
subjective
scene.
and vague terminology. Now let's go to the main arguments. Goho Loli Loli Baba.
Oh, Loli
This is a
Baba!
character called Shooting,
Loli Baba!
and she's based off her VA, her voice actress. Her VA is called the legal Loli in real life.
Legal
Because
Loli.
she's short, just like Shooting. She has the same exact height, and she has the same features. The difference is Shooting is obviously cartoonified. And about age of the characters is just don't mind you, the first character to ever be called a lolly to be designed as so in 1979 was a character that is 18 years old. So
Wait. What was this show called again? I forgot. I have seen him around. He is quite the icon, isn't he? Anyway, so this is like one of the first Loricon. So it looks very different from what we use today. Well, I'll start change.
first character to ever be called a lolly to be designed as so in 1979 was a character that is 18 years old. So you see, it's not just a very, very rare exception, and it's not just me pulling up a character and say, oh, this Dragon Lolly is
Clarice
not 18
di
years old.
Cagliostro.
Many
Is that Cyrano? Nah. No, I remember this. I read this one. Good shit, good shit.
many of these are based directly on petite women. But since my guy here posted sexualized depictions of a character that is 15 years old canonically,
Why did
I
he bring
would say
that?
he does not care about age, so I'll proceed to the next argument.
Oh, because Sonic is 15. Oh my god. Davey. Davey, you didn't need to do this. That was not necessary.
Proportions. Lolis are not necessarily prepubescent looking. So if they are not necessarily prepubescent looking, they cannot, even if you think of them as real life, they cannot be diagnosed you as a pedophile. Even if you put the pubescent character in real life, you wouldn't be diagnosed as a pedophile for them. So even if you don't believe that life in fiction, reality, you need to like exactly what you like in both cases, you still wouldn't believe that all polygons are pedophiles. And that here we get the definition that clearly states that lolis have pubescent characteristics.
This is
And this
embarrassed for our
definition is
hypocrites.
nothing coming from me. It's
Maybe.
coming from the biggest site
Let's just see where it
of
goes.
media and loli art that speaks it. And this style of creation is very old. That is dates from the
Wow, this is old.
very first loli drawings from the 80s from Ushiyama Aki and Hideo Azuma. Here's some examples of clear lolis that
the
are
Menhara.
based off around petite adults.
Let me read that one. Are based on adults. I was kind of curious how it would look. I tried close reference as possible, but with a bigger head, of course, but making her legs a bit longer too.
Here's some examples of clear
Oh, Menhara's cute,
lolis that
right?
be based off around.
Is she your spirit
adults.
animal?
There is a whole section of Javiavi, that is basically pornographic actress, that they are classified as loli in real life. Why? Because they are very short.
Right, these exist. Hey, that's 148 centimeter. 140. Is that an advertise? Is that like the headline of the video? Holy fuck! That's a selling point. Amazing.
And they are petite. And to show you more what showcase what's the differentiation is, I'm going to do this. I simply put the real life people through the AI, and you can see how they are
Wow, the
perfectly
AI.
matched with many loli or average loli characters.
I'm actually not sure what his point is here. Why send it to the AI?
So why do people like lolis?
Okay. Why do people like lolis? Like lolis. Kendrick's last answer. I suppose some of you might have some different answer in this one. Taboo. That's a good one. We're full of rebels. We like what others don't. Huh? So is it safe to assume that if it was no longer taboo, would it be not interesting anymore? If tomorrow, snap on the finger, Thanos, it was no longer taboo and everyone was into it, would it not be fun anymore? You guess. Well, yeah, I guess. Taboo is a very strong incentive. But we will never know the answer, will we? My answer is, I'm just fucking horny. I'll fuck anything that's cute. Easy enough, right? Dry hump this pillow, bitch.
So why do people like lolis? There is many reasons. First one is simply that the range of attractions is wider in fiction. That like if you have a distasteful for really big breasted people in real life because it looks ugly for you, you may find it better in
If one day it's just
fiction,
normal
because they are made
to do it in a
perfect
Burger King
and
bathroom,
symmetrical.
it's not
The
taboo
same
and
way it
exciting
works the
and
other
not
way
to some
around.
people. Okay.
Second point, they like taboo shipping dynamics, and that's
Yeah,
perfectly
taboo
fine.
shipping
Third
dynamics.
point, CSA victims use it for cope. They
Child sexual abuse victim using a scope. I heard about this. I can't really imagine it though. I don't quite understand how that works, to be honest. This is not a mindset I'm able to figure out. But they are not me, I'm not them, so if it really helps them, I guess that's fine. I just don't understand how that works. Maybe you guys know.
haywire their trauma with it. They cope with it. Another point, they can feel represented in self-inserting the lolly. That's actually a great deal of people self-insert themselves on the lolly character.
Okay, I can understand this part. Some people do want to self-insert as the lolly while inside an ugly bastard dungeon. You like them ugly bastards, don't you? Big fat ugly bastard.
Not on the abuser in this case. And like
It's a coping mechanic that they can control, start, stop whenever they want. Control they didn't have before during their abuse.
And that's completely
I see.
something that also happens. I'm
Oh,
considering this.
you
I'm not
wish you
saying
were
that
ugly
all
bastard.
Lolicons are
Oh, okay.
pedophiles. And people can just
Okay, my stance on ugly bastard is it's neutral. I actually don't care. Because when I read something, I'm here for the lolly. I don't give a shit who's the one fucking. I'm just seeing the girl, right? So this is why I am fully capable of reading anti-R doujins, incest doujins, ugly bastard doujins, monster rape doujins. I don't read Guro though, because the girl is no longer cute. I mean, if she's dead and dismembered and heads off, she's not cute anymore. Why am I here? Why am I wasting my time with that book, right? But yeah, I can read most stuff because I can mentally block out the guy. I just want an excuse to drink beer and eat like the cocada avocado and expand it. Oh. Ah, sure. I would like to eat without getting fat. That would be nice. Moving on.
just like lollies platonically, like the asexuals that are seated, but they are of course the minority of the minority. No, but they look like children. Bro, they do not. Because they look more like aliens in children. And if
I remember
you
this.
say that is a excuse that they look like how they look, so I can live off their bodies. You like this Wojak lolly over here? No, nobody finds that beauty. Because we do not like
Okay.
that the body,
Okay,
the
David.
body is not an excuse. We like the whole complex thing. We like the moe.
Oh fuck! I remember this one too. That is so creepy. Holy
Here, a
shit!
few citations. He said that there is no studies about it, but there is studies about it. There is many citations about it. And this is the first one. There is no claim to support that the existence of
They do have the purport
engagement
grace,
with
yeah.
such content encourages cognitive distortions. This is another report that was looked into by the Danish government, and they simply come out to say that it does not provoke the people to engage in child sex abuse.
Great aliens
These
give me
are
the
very
heebie-jeebies.
interesting one because this one was
Well, they're not real.
in
It's fine.
pedophiles to see how do they can cope with pedophilia without acting on it. And one of the things they tried
Put some
is
eyelash and
evidence
rage.
lolicon.
Yeah, if an alien ever comes to us, it might actually just work out, right? If suddenly some grey aliens decide to visit us, then they might be the most popular creature in the world. Not because they're aliens, but because you can turn them into anime girls. That's That's assault. Something to keep in mind.
And they noticed that specifically the exclusive pedophiles, the ones that can only be attracted to children, have difficulty to cope with it. So
1
if
minute left.
it was pedophilia, this could not possibly happen. Simulacra. First, we need to understand
Simulacra.
that virtual child pornography is something that's very, very broad, and it includes petite women as well. Loli is simply a simulacrum, not a representation of something that is real, but something that substitutes completely what is real. Legal and moral is very legal in the US. The last legal case that was referred to was in 2000.
Oh, you have been in psych class before?
Tried to ban it, and they
How's that
simply
like?
say that it is protected by the First Amendment. They would never say this if it was illegal. I bought Lolis online. It is not illegal.
That's time. It's 11 minutes. I can give you maybe another 20 seconds if you want to conclude.
Just conclude really fast. And the case they had that judged Lolicon as complete was Ashcroft vs. Free Speech Coalition.
You've done a lot.
That's it.
With that, want to say thank you very much for those opening statements.
Wow, he ended with that.
Into open dialogue. If you happen to have any questions, folks, you can submit them via the Q, or I should say, if you have any questions for the Q&A, which will follow the open discussion.
Oh yeah, there's a live chat here. Let me see.
With @ModernDayDebate in the live chat, or you can also do a super chat, in which case we push those questions to the top.
Yeah, now we can see their chat too. Let's see how they react.
And Evad, the floor is all yours for that open dialogue.
Look at all this support. You know what I'm saying? Why you don't hit that like? He killed it. Pedos coping and seeding in chat Lamau. But the kids will drop your lives in the pool. Bro, when most people talk about lawyers, they are talking about characters that are canonical adults, but clearly had the body of a very young child. It's obviously made as a pedo search trap. I don't know, man. I have seen some shit. I do not think the majority of them is about canonically young, canonically adults. That might not be the best argument. That can easily be killed. Minors and lolis are quite distinguishable from real children. This works. This is good. This guy likes lolis. I mean, yes. Shad. God Lamau. Classic Davy, double V. Woo. Davy Dub.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out there in his opening statement is that he claimed he had like debunked or refuted something I had said, which is that there hasn't been any research done, any kind of objective empirical research on whether or not lolicons have pedophilic tendencies. And then he showed some studies, some reports, not studies, reports. He showed some reports claiming to refute that, but they don't actually refute that. If you do a report on what evidence is available, and you come back and you say, well, we couldn't find any evidence, that doesn't mean you actually conducted the research. That just means you looked to see if anybody else had conducted the research, couldn't find the research, and said the research doesn't exist. But again, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So a report saying we couldn't find any evidence that these guys doesn't mean they actually conducted a study where they took them, hooked them up to phallometric testing or a polygraph or something like that, and actually tried to determine whether or not they're pedophiles. So that's the first thing. And I don't know if you want to respond to that, but
I do.
Okay.
Even if you think that's like someone saying there is absence of evidence, if there was evidence, this would be show up. When they look into it, if there was evidence, it would be show up.
No,
they just sit or they just don't sit on a desk and say, yeah, I think so, and then write the document. That was not what happened.
Do you know what a meta study is, or like a meta analysis, right? It's when you look at all the studies you have available and then you draw conclusions you can from that studies. If you look and there's no studies, you can't draw conclusions. So then the report will state we couldn't draw this conclusion because the evidence doesn't exist. Right. Show me the research where they actually tested lolicons to see if they're pet. It's not a thing.
No, you don't.
You can't analyze the stuff.
What is meta-analysis? Analysis. He kind of explained it, but I think I kind of just zoned out there. What was that?
They would be show up. Just sit, or they just don't sit on a desk and say, "Yeah, I think so."
You know what a meta study is, or like a meta-analysis, right? It's when you look at all the studies you have available, and then you draw conclusions you can from that studies. If you look and there's no studies, you can't draw conclusions. So then the report will state we couldn't draw this conclusion because the evidence doesn't exist. Right. Show me the research where they actually tested lolicons to see if they're pet. It's not a thing.
No, you don't.
You can't analyze the studies and then determine there's not adequate research.
Oh my god! Please stop talking over each other. Holy shit! Now I'm just lost. Okay.
It's not a thing.
Let me say, you cannot say that you can only have some science if it is a study. That's not a thing. It's a science because the expert's saying. You cited an expert, so I'm citing an expert. You didn't sit there study.
I don't know if you're
you
being
cited an expert.
If you're being intentionally obtuse here, why don't you define for us the methodology that they used to determine whether or not lolicons
What's the
are pedophiles?
methodology that your expert used to say that it was necessary to diagnosis?
In that study,
yes,
that was
not a study, by the way. It's not a study. But continue.
Well, it is.
No, it is not.
You're right. It's an article. It's a published article in the journal.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was a recommendation from an expert. I agree.
Yeah,
it's not empirical evidence. I agree. I agree.
So why are you trying to discard my argument, but your argument is the same?
No, I'm saying
it's
you acted as if you listen. You acted as if you had refuted me and shown that they have researched this and found that there's no link, but that's not true. The research doesn't exist.
The research exists. You didn't just cited one. I have many citations left.
Okay, so again, then, if you're going to claim that the research exists, I'll ask you to lay out the methodology that they used in the research.
I can give you some here. Let me check.
Don't lose temper.
They found out. They studied the history of lolicons, and of course, on the 80s, when child pornography was still legal on Japan, they had a huge magazine. It was the biggest magazine ever on Japan that has lolicon, and it also is used to run together with child pornography on it, pictures of it, and lolicons actually ran out of it and pressured the magazine. Was still legal. They pressured the magazine to remove the contents. And this is not just the child pornography.
Okay, well, that's an anecdote. That's not.
No, it's not. It's
research.
the biggest. No. It is because it's not just one case. I'm not citing one anecdote of one dude. I'm citing the biggest magazine ever on lolicon. It's the very magazine that gave birth to the term otaku. It's the biggest one. It's not just a small anecdote of one dude.
But it's not. It's still not. What you're saying is not scientific research. That's public.
Of course, it's scientific.
That's just like
research.
Public opinion. What do you mean it's scientific research?
So, how is
a
not?
bunch of lolicons who liked this magazine asked them to stop publishing the child porn. That's your argument, right?
My argument is pre-pressure. And that's the
that's
majority.
An anecdote. That's
it's
an
not
anecdote.
An anecdote. It's not one dude.
It's not an anecdote.
Because it's not one dude. It's not one individual. It's the biggest magazine ever.
But we don't. So, what was the percentage of the users who were lolis? Like this is.
Where lolis? Nobody's lolis,
you can't look at the data.
Who is lolis? Lolis is the character, not the people.
Well, sorry,
what are you talking about?
Lolicons.
You don't even know the definition.
Yeah, I use those terms interchangeably. I don't think people are too worried about the technical aspects of the terms.
What's that magazine?
There's no research. We agree. We can put that aside.
I
But
just say that is, and I showed you that is.
well, I guess the audience can
You
determine
can't
for themselves
discard it,
whether or not they
Scully,
consider
a
your
whole-
anecdotes to be a study.
It's a whole
Uh,
magazine.
Hmm.
The biggest one. It's not. It's not.
I guess it
that's
could
not
be
how
considered an
encyclopedias
Right,
anecdote.
so
work.
Yeah.
you're describing like you're describing like a movement
I-
at best. You're saying this was like a
I guess it
movement
fits
of
his
the
name.
lolicons. That's still not a scientific study, but
Hi,
a study,
hypocrites.
an actual
It's a
methodology would be
research.
like something that
Oh my
they
god.
described where they
Please
would-
calm down,
where
both
they
of you.
would
Holy
do
shit, what is going
biometric
on?
testing or the lie detector test, something like that, to determine whether or not there's actually a correlation. That would be real research. But I wanted to ask you about something else you said in your opening, which is you said something like the lolly can be older than the lolicon, and
Yes.
therefore, okay. But so what I said was that for the stuff I'm talking about like explicitly underage. So when you say the lolly can be older, are you talking about lollies that are like older than 12 for that argument?
Lollies can be literally any age. It
Right,
doesn't
right.
matter.
So that's that. So you're not talking about like the lolly can be 12 and the lolicon can be like 6 or something. Like that would be silly, right?
The lolly can be 18 and the lolicon can be 16, and then you are still a lolicon for it.
Okay. Well, if the lolicon's 18, it's not really if the lolly is 18, then it's not really pedophilic. So I want to go back to the thing that I said in my opening, which is that I want to focus.
That's not how it works.
So I just want to ask you your opinion on this, though. I want to confirm this with you.
Sure.
If we're going to focus on the like extreme end of the spectrum, which is explicit and pornographic material that depicts children, right? Like, do you agree that that's a thing?
That is, lolicon does not depict children. Lolicon does not depict children.
What I mean by depict children is drawings of children.
Drawings of what children?
Just a child, a drawing depicting a child.
Fictional. Pay attention. A fictional character is not a human being. It's not a child. They don't constitute the definition of a child. If I draw on paint right now and I make a little sticky man, I put 11 over his head, it's not a child. That's a fictional character.
I can kind of see what he is thinking now. Clearly, we have some different definitions going on. And how he came to that conclusion on his own, or well, with others. Because when we see characters and stories, they are kind of based on humans, aren't they? So it's kind of easy to see how he jumped to that conclusion. The characters don't look like humans, and they certainly are not real, but they are the closest representation of a human in that medium. So when that closest representation has a child representation, like, well, it is a child in their universe. This is where he sees the line, right? So it's kind of a branch, and we all kind of went different direction in that regard. If I explain that properly. Age is arbitrary when it comes to fictional content. The designs are literally at my whim, and the luricons are just clowns. Yeah, we can do what we want. We can draw what we want. And we can set the age of what we want. But I can kind of see how these anti-loricons kind of came to their conclusions. And I really don't know if we can even help them or change that perspective. It sounds ingrained. Oh yeah, actually still 10. Didn't he turn 11 like 2 years ago? Is that funny?
I understand that a drawing is not a literal human being.
Not literal, just a basic sense. Just a basic sense of the word child.
It's a drawing of a child. It's
No, what
depicting
child?
a child. The
What
character
child?
is a child. So
The character? The
right.
character is not a child.
And I think Davy is getting a little bit baited there. Maybe not baited, more like he's reacting really hard on that touch.
You're saying you cannot draw a child.
A
That's
child
your
no,
position.
no, you can draw a child. You can come
Okay.
if I have a daughter, someone else can make a drawing of my daughter, and that is by definition a drawing of a child. But if I draw a fictional character, that is not a drawing of a child. When you say a drawing of a child, you imply a child.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna gather myself here. So if let's say somebody, okay, here's a question for you. How do you know that the lollies are not inspired by real children?
I can give you reference right now, so if you let me share screen.
Well, let me rephrase it. Is it theoretically possible that a lolly could be inspired by a real child?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
So it is possible, and you wouldn't really have any way of knowing unless the person told you or something like that, right?
Same with any kind of form.
Okay, right. Okay, so let's say, for the sake of argument, again, I'm just trying to do the most steel man, the most worst example. So let's say somebody has a daughter, or their friend has a daughter who's like 6 years old. They draw a lolly based off of that child, and they depict the girl getting like raped, and then they traffic that on pornographic websites for people to masturbate to, right? Would that be a pornographic depiction of a child?
That's identifiable as a child, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is certainly true. This is very much what Shadman did. And we all know what he did. Twice. I think 3 times, maybe. And it could probably have been more outside the medium that we don't know about. God damn, Shadman is wild. Holy fuck. With that in mind, yeah, it's possible it has been done before, certainly. With that in mind, Shadman kind of he is technically a criminal in many places, isn't he? Oh, you're on your phone. Oof, big oof. Wait, how can you even read any of this chat? That screen must be fucking small.
We agree then that there can be lollies, which are pornographic drawings depicting children in sexual situations. So would you consider somebody who masturbates to those to be pedophiles?
He got arrested. I think he got arrested for carrying assault weapon or something. So maybe not the right thing.
If they're conscious about it, yes.
Wait, let me hear that again.
Okay, so we agree then that there can be lollies, which are pornographic drawings depicting children in sexual situations. So would you consider somebody who masturbates to those to be pedophiles?
If they're conscious about it, yes.
That is kind of an interesting question from him, to be honest. I'm trying to imagine a scenario now. I found this amazing doujin that I just conducted to like five years or something. And then I'm suddenly learning today that that was based on a real child. I don't know what I would think. there's a good chance I will not put that book down anyway because I like that book. But it might still be in my mind for a while. Right? Never really thought about that. But my principle has been very simple. If the style is nice, shading is great, coloring is possible, it's very hot, I like it, that's it. And mostly because they actually don't even look human to begin with. It's like, if I would compare myself to sexual disorientation, I will probably compare myself to those people who are sexually attracted to objects like cars, trees, or maybe toilet papers even. I think those exist. So yeah, I would say that I might not actually be attracted to humans per se, but I am attracted to something that could resemble a human, but certainly not. But it's an interesting thought. Let's see, Gina chat. No, cause that would imply that a character design based on a real life person in GTA oriented like game, and you shoot and kill them. Then would you be a murderer? No, certainly you would not be a murderer. However, some countries do consider that to be a hate crime. If you are depicting something on a real person and then mutilate them, that depends on what country you are, and some people do have different reaction to that as well. So there's something there. Let's see. That's the case with people who enjoyed Unter Alterbach. Right, that game. A lot who cranked it to the Lolis were unaware they were based on. Oh, okay. I did not know that. That is new to me. Interesting. I don't know how to react to it though. The concept of the game itself is fascinating, I guess. However, I hate the art style. I don't like the art style at all, so I don't have much to say in that regard. It's not my thing. Okay, I'm moving on.
If they're
All right. Regarding that GTA thing, I think he mentioned it later in this video, so we will see his view on that.
if they're conscious about that, it's that
Yeah,
they're-
if they know about it. If I draw a stick man right now and I say, "Oh, I'm not going to say anything, but I have friends a real child right now," and then somebody masturbates to the stick man and they don't know about it, that doesn't make them a pedophile.
so they have to know that it's a child. I mean,
Yes.
Uh,
Oh, you
Okay.
going to say that masturbated to a stick man is pedophilia right now?
to a stick man.
Yes.
what the? How did he come to that
Well, the
conclusion?
thing is you can
Yes
just
or no?
use your
Yes or no? Because it's your argument.
Well, you can use
Oh,
your imagination, right? So that's the problem. Is it's hard to know what is in somebody's mind.
I mean,
when
pedophilia by
they're-
definition is the fantasies with children, like biological children. You can look at the stick man and then imagine. a
Haha,
child,
stick man.
like a
Exactly.
child.
Stick
That's what
man.
it's pedophile about.
Yes.
But on the behalf of being a stick man alone and masturbating towards the stick man, you agree it's not pedophilia. Even if it's the person that make the stick man draw it to have
Base
sex with a
holes
child for
drawing.
some reason.
Sorry.
You agree that the stick man does not make somebody a pedophile necessarily, correct? Even if the person that drew the stick man is not is going to reference that on a child, correct?
Sorry, if they reference this, if they're not referencing the stickman for a child, they're not a pedophile. Look, man, it's hard for me to relate.
Okay, I must give prop to this modern debate guy. He has been keeping his faith cool the entire time through all this. He's very good. He's very good at being neutral.
Relate to because I don't jerk off to cartoons. It's hard for me to understand.
Why you don't take the question? Yes, sorry.
I don't even. I'm trying to understand.
Oh, here's a super chat. Okay, let's read that. I think lolicon is horrible, but I don't think it should be treated like CP. That's a legal can of worms you don't want to open. You have people register as offended for having DVDs for them. Huh. Okay. Oh, I think they're going to read super chat later at the end. So yeah, we can wait with that.
I know what you're saying. I'm really
Simply, I'll have formulate. You have a stickman. You have a stickman. The person that drew the stickman make the reference on an actual child.
Right. Also, the stickman's inspired by a child. I got you. Okay. Yes.
But it's just a stickman. It doesn't have anything special. And then someone else looks at the stickman and goes, oh my God, that's so hot. And they masturbate to stickman and they don't know about it.
Right.
Is that person a pedophile?
I don't know, man. I mean, look. Let's go. I mean, is this not hot? Look at her. Is that not the definition of cute? Cute and funny. I'm actually impressed how much they managed to put on the put all these child features on the stick now. That is so good. Oh, look at this. Metsugaki. That is... Oh my god, that is a lot of details for a stick girl. Oh my fucking god. Oh, that's no longer a stick. That there's some meat there. You will corrupt her so hard. If you're an ugly bastard, it's... beer belly.
I mean, I can't guarantee that they are, but it's sort of a ridiculous hypothetical because I don't think people are jerking
Don't
off
fight
to
the
stickmen,
hypothetical.
right?
Answer.
Okay, I'll say no. I guess
Okay.
not. We couldn't guarantee it. That's right. Okay.
Finally.
Okay, so here's the.
So he said no.
Why jerk off to drawings that look like children? Why do that?
What?
Why not just jerk off to I mean, it'd be better not to use porn at all, not to masturbate at all. But if you're gonna do it, why?
Okay, so that was a view on the porn in general that I thought up. So we kind of see what kind of character we're dealing with already. So he did ask, why jerk off to something that looks like a child, right? So why do we do that? I don't fucking know. She's hot, I guess. Alright, enjoy your sleep, Elias. Try to not die.
Why not do it to
And wake up tomorrow, eh?
They don't look like children to me. They look like children to you.
Okay, so you don't think that there's any lolly that looks like a child at all?
No, I don't. If
That
they
seems
look
a
realistic,
little
they're
bit-
not a
That
lolly.
seems a little bit disingenuous.
No, that's entirely subjective.
Okay, well,
That is
I
kind of
guess you
subjective,
should
yeah.
ask a jury of your peers at some point what they think. But speaking of which, let's talk to the.
Right, I guess there is a comment right there. What about furries? Is that bestiality? That is an argument too, isn't it? Their defense is kind of functional though. Like, they really don't look like animals, except from the face, and they have a lot of furs. But at the same time, they do have animalistic features. It is very subjective.
Let's speak to the legal question.
Sure.
You said it's not illegal because you have imported lolicon.
No. I say it is not illegal because the UN tried to ban it in 2019 in US, Austria, and Japan categorically said it is protected by their freedom of speech laws. And this is official. I give you the source. You can return the video later. You can read it.
What's
That-
who the UN?
The UN tried to ban it, and the US responded saying it is typically protected by the First Amendment. That's not a discussion that we need to have.
No, it isn't. This is a
No, it's not. Illegality of
definitely need
it,
to have
the
this
legality
discussion.
of it is not matter for
Yes,
the
oh
clinical
yes,
definition.
we're discussing the legality for sure because it's not legal if it's obscene. That's why people go to jail for it, right? Which is what I
Obscenity
referenced.
is a joke law. It matters by case basis. It
Wait,
is not a
what?
blanket ban
What
on
did
literally
he?
anything.
Let
That
me
is
just hear that again.
mandatory protected by the First Amendment. That's not a discussion that we need to have.
No, it isn't. This is a
No, it's not. Illegality of
definitely need
it,
to have
the
this
legality
discussion.
of it is not matter for
Yes,
the
oh
clinical
yes,
definition.
we're discussing the legality for sure because it's not legal if it's obscene. That's why people go to jail for it, right? Which
Obscene. The obscenity law. Huh. That is kind of an interesting perspective to come from. Obscenity law exists everywhere, and that is basically no pornographic material in a public space, right? So what he is saying is that the internet is a public space. And by introducing pornography to the internet, which is a public space, it is illegal. Is that his case? This just sounds like a law that is outdated, more or less. We don't really have a law for the internet right now. Or, well, we don't really have a proper one, do we? Yeah, I know, right? It's quite flimsy. Not everyone will consider it as obscene. So, who dictates that? Is it the judge or is it the public who reports it to the police? Right? Who even decides that? Especially on the internet, who decides that part? And another thing is that something I recently heard from Elon Musk when he bought Twitter, he wanted Twitter to be a public square, right? So would that be a public space? Would obscenity law count there then? Yeah, Elon. I know it when I see it doesn't really work. Yeah. A very common argument on their side is that if it quacks like a duck, it looks like a duck, it certainly is a duck, right? That is... I can see why they think the way they do. Anyway, I'm moving on. Let's see what more you have to say about the obscenity thing.
which is what I
Obscenity
referenced.
is a joke law. It matters by case basis. It's not a blanket ban on literally anything. There is
Joke law.
90,000 obscenity cases. You're not going to sit here and tell me that going to Pornhub is illegal because some porn was banned.
I'm gonna make
Okay. Pornhub. Alright, oh, okay. You want to say something?
it illegal. That's coming down. the
Oh,
pipe.
so you admit it's not illegal. Thank you, bro. Thank
No,
you.
porn. We're talking
Thank you.
porn. Porn is not illegal currently, but I'm
What-
talking about
okay, that is-
obscene depictions.
Porn is not illegal currently. Okay, so he believes it will be illegal one day. Well, it is kind of illegal in some countries already, so I guess he's getting his wish. Good for you.
Of children, right?
That is not a depiction of
Obscene
shit.
drawings of children in sexual activities
not-
is illegal.
That is 90,000 kids. I'll repeat you. 90,000 kids of vicinity. And there is like 2 or 3 on cartoons. You are not claiming that porn or me going to a porn hub is illegal. Why are you claiming that lolly hentai is illegal?
Because people go to jail for it in the US.
People go to jail for obscenity for porn too, bro. You're not addressing the argument.
What do you mean?
I will repeat it one more time. There is 90,000 cases of obscenity. There's like 3 on cartoons. Why are you not saying that every other case is telling me that is a blanket ban on porn?
Right. So, well, this goes back to what I said in my opening statement, which is I'm talking about stuff on the far end of the spectrum, right? I'm not talking about like the Sailor Moon cartoon or whatever. I'm talking about explicit, obscene drawings of children in sexual activities.
And how do that address me saying that's like 8,099 cases of pornography being considered obscene, and you not saying that is illegal categorically because of it?
Right, but the obscene stuff is illegal. That's the point.
Oh my god! You do realize that obscenity in legal terms is not the same as in logical terms, right?
What is obscenity in logical terms? Yeah, I understand there's like legal tests for what is determined.
Yes, there is a Miller test. Yes,
right,
there is a test for it.
Right. And I also understand that when people are brought in front of a jury and the jury sees the cartoon children that they're masturbating to, the juries then decide to send those people to jail.
Literally who?
Who are the people?
Yes, who the people in US that did that? There is not a single case of conviction in US that was not by somebody who already had actual child porn.
No, that's not true. There's
true. Tell me one. Tell me one.
I'll tell you two. Christopher Handley and Thomas Allen Arthur.
Oh my God. I think Handley is the bald man. Is the bald man? I think if he had the bald man. Yeah, I think there is 2 cases. One, the guy had actual pornography, and the other was plead guilty. It was not a conviction.
Let me hear that name again. What was it?
That is true. Tell me one. Tell me one.
I'll tell you two. Christopher Handley and
Christopher Handley. What is this case? Okay, there's too much going on. I don't give a shit.
Thomas Allen Arthur.
Oh my God. I think Handley is the bald man. Is the bald man?
Obscenity law to Skatfetish Schwarzenegger. Right. I think obscenity law was the reason Two Girls One Cup got shut down. That's sad, isn't it? No more Two Girls One Cup. Oh no.
I think there is 2 cases. One, the guy had actual pornography, and the other was plead guilty. It was not a conviction.
Yeah, you're right. That's Handley. He did also have real child porn, and he had lolicon, and he was convicted for both.
Yes.
Right. So that's one example of a guy being convicted for having lolicon.
Not
and the
solely
other,
on lolicon.
What?
Not solely on lolicon.
Yeah, well, he also,
that is not a single case.
I'm not sure the fact that the lolicon also had real child porn supports your argument that much. But it's true. He did.
Supports because you don't get it just by being a lolicon, just having lolicon. You have to get something else, or you need to plead guilty, like
Okay, and what about the other guy, Thomas Allen Arthur?
Thomas Allen Arthur was the guy that pled guilty.
No, he didn't plead guilty. He was convicted by a jury of his peers.
Let me see. Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure there is only 2 cases and one is the pled guilty. Thomas Allen Arthur.
The guy we just talked about pled guilty, Christopher Handley. He had porn and lolicon, and he pled guilty to all counts. Thomas Allen Arthur was convicted by a jury of his peers and sentenced to 40 years in prison.
Okay, Texan man sentenced to 40 years for running website of stories about raping, murdering children. Excuse me, what? convicted in January 2021 for trafficking textual stories and drawings of child and infant sexual abuse and murder on a website he had run since 1996. Oh my god, that is old. Arthur personally reviewed and approved all submissions before publication. Evidence presented at trial showed that the website called Mr. Double had been Arthur's sole source of income for more than 20 years, according to the Department of Justice press release. Arthur earned income by charging members fee to access the site's violent materials. He began charging visitors to the site in 1998. The site was taken offline in November 2019 when the FBI executed a search warrant and raided Arthur's home in Trinidad, Texas, Big Bend? Big Bend. Oh, okay. National Park at the state's north central border. It was Arthur's home base for administering the site, but it had been hosted from servers in Netherlands. Law enforcement received additional evidence from the foreign servers pursuant to mutual legal assistance treaty with the Netherlands. Arthur's also allegedly guilty of sex crimes unrelated to his website. While Arthur was being investigated for Mr. Double, two women came forward about the past appearance of assault at his hand. In the early 1980s, Arthur allegedly molested the young daughter of a friend and a business associate. The victim was between the age of 3 and 4. Oh, Jesus Christ. 3 and 4. In 1992, he allegedly video recorded himself sexual assault. I thought, oh, I was linked him. Why would you even do that? Holy fuck. In addition to the 40-year prison term, Arthur has also been given $50,000 fine and sentenced to a 3-year period of post-incarceration supervised release. However, given Arthur's advanced age at the time of sentencing, it is unlikely he will fulfill his entire sentence during his lifetime. I mean, he might die before that. I guess he lived his life. I mean, I'm not sure if he was arrested for that. He was investigated for the fictional materials, but the arrestation seems to must have come from those molestations. God damn, Archer, what the fuck were you drinking? Alright, moving on. They're talking about Archer.
And that was he was convicted in 2021 as well, this guy. So this isn't like old news. This is recent with the up-to-date laws.
Like I see over here, he had other issues as well. It was not solely based on Lolicon as well. He had assaulted females, had done a lot of stuff that actually categorically make him more likely to be charged with stuff. That is still not just on Lolicon.
No. So after he was convicted, it came out that he had in fact molested a child, but that's not what he was charged with and brought to court. That came out after. Which again, it's a bad look. This guy who just is, he's charged for trafficking in fictional material only. That he wasn't charged for real child porn. He wasn't charged for sex. He was charged for trafficking this fictional material.
What's it?
He was convicted, and then it came out afterwards that he had also one of his victims came forward after he was arrested and charged, and it came out that he had sexually molested a child.
Some other info I'm reading here. Campaign to overturn the conviction. There were numerous inconsistency in the evidence, which led to an outcry among elements in the farming community and among relatives of Thomas and his wife, Vivian Thomas, that led to the formation of the Arthur Thomas Retrial Committee. The report by a retired judge, Sir George MacGregor, which rejected appeal for retrial, was also riddled with inconsistency and inaccuracies. However, a report on that by journalist Terry Bell, then deputy editor of the Auckland Star Saturday, was rejected for publication on the grounds that it is not the role of the newspaper to attempt to try the courts. Bell then resigned and produced the book Bitter Hill, which is the English meaning of Puke Kawa, outlining the inconsistency in the prosecution's case and the theory advanced by the retrial committee. It provided the impetus for a national campaign that eventually led to a controversial retrial when the jury was housed incommunicado. What's of all these words? With police in a local hotel, Thomas was again convicted. Oh, well, that was an old case. Oh my god. In late 2019, Thomas, then aged 81, faced 1 charge of rape and 4 of indecent assault against 2 women. He previously pleaded not guilty and elected trial by jury. His case was called Manukau District Court, where he was excused from attending. Judge Charles Blackie left suppression orders that previously prevented media from reporting anything about the case. No, it doesn't seem to really mention much about how being convicted for the materials. Here's something from justice.gov. That's a government site, right? Texas man sentenced to 40 years in prison for running child obscene website. Huh. The government says that. Convicted by a federal jury in January 2121. Wow, 2121, nice. Of 3 counts of trafficking in obscene visual representation of the ship. Ah, okay, there you go. 3 counts of trafficking in obscene visual representation of the sexual abuse of a child. 5 counts of trafficking in obscene text stories about the sexual abuse of children, and 1 count of engaging in the business of selling obscene materials involving sexual abuse of children. So this is where it came in. Well, this looks like to be a Texas thing, no? Texans are a breed of their own. Well, let's keep going. We're just halfway there.
I can read the link, or I can give the link here.
Additionally, according to court documents and statements made at the sentencing, Arthur sexually assaulted 2 females. So it was not after.
During the investigation of the case, right?
Yeah, it was not after.
After he was arrested, yeah.
No, it was after the sentence. It was before the sentencing. It was taken into observation that as well. It was not just solely on Lolicon. If that was even Lolicon, because Victor child pornography has a really wide blanket.
He wasn't charged for sexual assault or molestation. He was charged.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when somebody is charged with something like obscenity. They look up their history and what they have, and then they decide if he's due or not.
Right. So
is that how it works?
You agree that it's illegal, but your argument is that they're not going to come after you as long as you don't like
No, I
do
don't
other
agree. It's
things.
illegal.
That's
It's
it.
not illegal. Obscenity
We
law
well,
is
we
not.
just objectively proved it's illegal because of the
No,
sentencing.
no. Obscenity law is case by case basis. It's not a blanket ban or anything. You're going to say that porn is illegal because there's 8,000 cases of obscenity charges for porn?
No, but we're talking about the obscene stuff, right? And the
Is
thing
obscenity.
is,
Obscenity law also includes
listen,
pornography.
listen.
Oh,
Here's the
the
thing when it
Davey,
comes to these
Davey,
lolicon
you
convictions.
should
Come
calm
on.
down.
Again, there's other ones in other countries as well. What the thing is that they've never convicted anybody for lolicon that depicted adults or like manga sexual hentai. Is that what it's called? Hentai? They've never
How-
convicted anybody for looking at hentai that depicts adults. Every single of these convictions, it's because it was depicting children. So
Look,
that's where the
unless you can
juries draw
show
the
me.
line, right?
Look,
That's where you're crossing the obscenity line is when you're jerking off to drawings of children.
No. Obscenity does not use cartoons. Why the 14668 is
I know.
not
I'm
just
talking
the
about
only
lolicon
obscenity.
though. I'm
Yeah,
not talking about obscenity. I'm talking about
but you
lolicon.
talk
That's
about
where your
obscenity. You
lolicon
talk
crosses the
about
line.
obscenity
I mean,
charges.
if he doesn't like
Obscenity
Yes.
porn
charges do
in
not use
general, I'm
Obscenity
not surprised
charges
he
for
doesn't know what
lolicon.
hentai
That's what
is.
we're talking about.
No,
So
I'm talking about
when does
everything. Why
lolicon
you
cross the
trying to
line into
use the obscenity
illegal
charge?
obscenity? The
Oh my
answer
God!
is
My
when
boy,
it's depicting children
my
in
boy, you were
explicit
trying to say that
sexual.
One
because
sec,
somebody
just to
was
be sure.
charged.
I want to hold on
situations.
one sec. Just to be sure, because if there's too much talking over each other, I like letting it fly because we like it wild here, but we don't like it too wild because then they can't hear you guys. So let's let LP finish that sentence, and then we'll come right back to you, and we'll give you a full 30 seconds or a minute of ad.
When lolicon becomes illegally obscene when it depicts children in sexually explicit situations. That's the reason I'm saying that. What I'm basing that on is the fact that that's what all of the convictions have been for. There haven't been
The mod
convictions for
jumped
people
in
looking at hentai that
into the
depicted
ring.
adults or demons or whatever. It's when you start doing it with children that the authorities and the juries, they say no, you're going to jail.
Like I said, in 2019, they categorically said it's protected by the First Amendment. They would not have said that if it was illegal. And they literally use the word "not a real child" on the part when they say that. So
I don't know why you're even bringing up the UN at all. You're talking about the UN though.
As if, before we come back to you, LP.
Well, can you just be clear on what? Because nobody even knows what you're talking about. You're talking about some UN declaration, as if anybody gives a shit what the UN has to say about anything.
No.
Oh, you completely missed the point. We're not even talking about the UN. We're talking about the US, right? It was the UN who tried to be on his side. I don't understand how he came to the conclusion that the UN was. That is weird. Well, let's just listen.
No. I said the UN tried to ban it, and the US responded saying it is typically protected by the First Amendment because there is no real child.
Well,
that
the
is
UN has
factual truth.
The UN has no authority.
Yeah,
anything
the US
anywhere.
the US have it. That's why I'm saying the US answered that way.
He still
That's not the
thinks.
UN saying it. That's the US saying.
So how? So you're saying Thomas Allen Arthur's conviction is unlawful? Is that
No.
position?
No. If you read the document, obscenity is an exception to the rule, not the rule.
Right. So the obscene stuff is illegal. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been arguing. This whole it's not. I'm not saying all lolicon or all lollies are illegal. I'm saying the obscene stuff, and even you can probably have really gross obscene stuff that a lot of people would consider obscene, but it isn't depicting children.
Let
and
me speak. You're speaking over me too
go to
much.
jail for that.
Let me speak.
All right. I'm sorry, but
you're not letting me speak.
You're agreeing with me.
No,
now,
I'm not.
So there's nothing.
Hold on. Let's hear from Lolicon.
When they say that it was legal, they were not referencing SFW, QTZ, Loli. They were referencing pornography. The whole talk was about explicit material, not a gray area. Oh, it's just etchy. No, that was about pornography.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't come to talk to me. That's just that's what is not obscene. Like it's a logical term, it's a legal term, and that's case by case basis. It is not a blanket ban on anything, just like it's not on pornography.
Right, but you agree that you can go to jail for your lolicon. That's the point, right? It's possible you can go to jail for uploading these drawings to Twitter or Discord or whatever. That's the important part you need to agree on.
I just can go to jail by uploading that if I infringe someone else, like unwanted, or if I wanted sexual harassment, sexual sending stuff to people that doesn't want it, or if I have some other charges with me. So that categorically makes me a target for the charges.
Well, this, I believe the rules are different between depending on each state, right? I mean, I heard that Loricon is illegal in some states. I'm not American, so I don't really know, but it is just things I heard and read. I'm not going to memorize all 51 state laws. I'm just not doing. I'm not doing that.
No, you're
Yes.
wrong. You're wrong.
You didn't
can
show
go
me a
to
single
jail.
case.
You can go to
about-
jail. I showed you the case. I
No,
showed
no,
you
no.
the case.
There was in the show. There was more stuff on the case. How the thing
He was not charged with sexual assault
It
or
doesn't matter.
molestation.
It doesn't matter. They
It
look at
doesn't
their
matter.
past.
Okay, so
They
so you're-
wouldn't-
so
they
again,
wouldn't
again,
see
your
them, brother.
argument is that it's illegal under the law, but they're not going to come after you as long as you are only jerking off to drawings of children, right? But if you're trafficking this material, do not do anything else illegal. Do not assault any women, because then they'll charge you. That's your argument. Your argument is not that it's legal. Your argument is just that they won't come after you as long as you keep your nose relatively clean.
No.
That sounds like it. Maybe he's not really. Maybe he's not elaborating very well.
No, that's not it.
That is
Because-
exactly what you're saying.
No, that is not. Because if it's legal, Lolicon alone is legal, then it is legal. If something else that comes forward with it and makes it illegal, that's different. You need to summon something else to make it illegal. Because
But you're wrong when you
What was
say
that? What?
It's
not
literally
true.
that.
What does that mean?
Well, no, it's not true. You're wrong.
It's literally that. You are in denial,
The
right?
obscene material can put you in jail.
if you have
Right,
something
that's
else,
the law.
yes.
What do you mean
In
if? No, the
2000
law is obscenity, right? So they can.
It's not something
obscenity,
else.
It's a
trafficking, and
joke
obscene-
law that's
Oh my
based on
God.
case by case basis.
It's a joke law. Is that what you
Yes,
said?
it's just joke
Right.
law
So
that's case
you
by
don't
case
have to
basis.
like the law. You're entitled to your opinion, but it is the law. That's the point.
And it's case by case basis. You don't know
Right.
that, right?
So
You
I
admit
under-
this case by
yes,
case basis.
Yes,
Thank you.
c-
It's not
yes,
categorically legal. Thank you.
And you agree that you can go to jail for lolicon under obscenity laws.
If you have another stuff, you can also go for actual normal porn. Yes, there's 8,000 cases for normal porn. That's not cartoons. So yes,
Okay, so just
can
so,
go for-
so for all the lollies out there watching, you can go to jail for this stuff. So just
if
be
they-
aware. Also God is watching you. Another thing to think about. Maybe just
Yeah.
examine all your life
if
choices.
they do anything wrong, like actual child pornography, they molest actual people, they can go to jail, and they should.
Well, I mean, they should go to jail. All of you guys should go to jail. And actually, it should be a
For the
capital
lollies out there watching.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh,
Right, it
that's-
shouldn't be
Well,
jail,
he-
it should be
I think
death
it's
penalty.
okay.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
doesn't
that's
really
it, bro.
know all the
Kill
words.
people because of
I'll let him
drowning,
slide.
Something, the harmless drowning.
Yeah, a jury of your peers.
Oh, you're
should
totally
should
normal
look at the
person, bro.
things-
You are the normal person in the room, bro.
I am.
You want to kill
I am
people
normal.
because of
Yes.
harmless cartoons.
Yes, I dream of the day that you're all dragged in front of a jury of your peers. They see the things you've been pulling your pud to, and they decide your fate. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for
He really said that, didn't he?
all of you guys should go to jail. And actually, it should be a capital crime, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh,
Right? It shouldn't be jail. It should
bro.
be death penalty. Yeah.
That's neat, bro. You want to kill people
Uh.
because of me drowning something, the harmless drowning.
Yeah, a jury of your peers.
Oh, you're
should
totally
should
normal
look at the
person, bro.
things-
You are the normal person in the room, bro.
I am.
You want to kill
I am
people
normal.
because of
Yes.
harmless cartoons.
Yes, I dream of the day that you're all dragged in front of a jury of your peers. They see the things you've been pulling your pud to, and they decide your fate. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for us to actually start cleaning up the filth in this country for real.
You can try, bro. You can try on me.
Okay.
This might be a good chance to go into the Q&A. Folks, if you happen to have any questions, do let us know. Otherwise, gentlemen, do you have any last, you could say, summary statements before we go into the Q&A? Maybe 2 minutes each if you'd like. Feel good? Okay, we'll jump right into the Q&A.
Well, I'll just reiterate that he basically conceded. You can go to jail for lolicon. It's a child porn charge, and that's a diagnostic for pedophilia. So being a lolicon does make you a pedophile. Sorry.
Let me just say something. He posted sexual depictions of Sonic that 15 years old. So technically, he's into minors as well by his own statement. Let's go now.
We'll jump into the Q&A. Do want to say thanks so much for your questions, folks. If you happen to have any, you can tag me with @ModernDayDebate at the live chat, or if you'd like to push your question to the top of the list or make a statement, you can do a super chat.
Wait.
We're going to start with this one coming in from, thanks so much.
Was he the one who posted that fucking Sonic picture? Was that his? Is that what I'm getting? Okay then, okay, sure, whatever. Oh, why? How did he do that? How can someone who's anti-porn post that? I don't get it! Mario, sådär! He went full anti-backa! How does that even work? Brother, in Christ.
So much. Do appreciate your question. Kwani Upstate says, will Evad admit to possessing lolicon material on his computer? That's a good test if he believes what he says.
I had to admit I have like about 23,000 items on Loli hentai explicit stuff, and most of it is very pornographic, like very depiction, like very explicit. Yes.
And does your family know that that's what you're into?
Oh yes, yes. My family knows. The Kafka trap doesn't work with me because my family knows. They don't care. My mother.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They call it dolls because they know it's not real.
Okay.
This one from, and folks, as you know, I think I mentioned it earlier. If you happen to do a super chat, you can also do a statement. There is one from Hitchens Boot that says, "LOL, this lolly guy is getting destroyed so bad." Okay, I'm sorry, lolly guy. But we want to reinforce. Well, actually, a couple of things. One, we hope you feel welcome no matter what walk of life you are from, as well as both of our guests are linked in the description. So if you'd like to hear more from iHypocrite or Evad, you can by clicking on those links right now. And there's something important. It's one thing to be knowledgeable about your own side. It's another thing to be wise, where you can accurately depict the other person's argument in a charitable or strong way. So that's one reason to click on those links. This one from...
Must be nice to have that kind of family.
I'll throw him a bone here. I think he did a better job, Ivad did, than I was expecting. He brought. I'm not saying he won or that I'm convinced by his arguments, but I was expecting the arguments to be worse than they were. So I'll give him a shout out for that.
Juicy. And Anna Matt says, I think lolicon is horrible, but I don't think it should be treated like child prawn. That's legal. A legal can of worms you don't want to open. You'll have people registering as offenders for having DVDs of Dragon Ball Z.
Based.
This one from Kiwi in Springfield.
Based.
James is still my #1 OnlyFans subscriber. That's not true. Says, thanks, bud. You're awesome.
Whoa.
You asshole. No, believe it or not, I am not subscribed to anybody on OnlyFans. This one from Big Cheese says, thanks for your super sticker. And this one from
nice Twitter.
He says, there it is.
Nice brother.
iHypocrite wants to ban all porn.
Yes, that's correct. When I started off, I was more libertarian and was more like, well, we should just restrict it better so minors can access it. Then I started looking into the constitutional issues, and I realized the constitutional protections weren't there. And I said, well, if that's democracy. if the people want to ban it, it should be banned. And then once you start saying that, the coomers come out of the woodwork to whine and cry. So you eventually reach a point where the reason you want it to be banned is just so these pathetic losers cry. Like, oh, what do you mean? I have a constitutional right to masturbate to videos of meth heads having sex. You can't take that away. Like you just become so disgusted by these losers that becomes the reason in of itself to ban it, just to make them mad.
Juicy, to say the least. This one
Fascinating.
20 Upstate says if possessing this material is not illegal, would Evad call the local police and tell them he has some on his computer?
I already declared I have over here. I have no intention to sexually harass police in my department. I have no intention to do that. If sexual harassment is not cool.
You got it. This one coming in from.
I don't think calling the police and confessing
And saying you have porn.
Hey,
bro, I have porn. That's sexual harassment. That's ridiculous.
You're confessing a crime to the police, really.
Having porn.
I don't think you're.
How is that a crime?
It's obscene.
I'm not going to start it over again. I'll give you all the reason you need.
Huh?
I already give you all the reason you need.
Okay.
This one coming in from Dodo M says LP is projecting.
Yeah, I mean that's not people say that all the time. That's not an argument.
It is true because he likes 15-year-old cartoons, like I said in the show.
Yeah, so I posted the Sonic thing because it's cringe.
Sexual.
And
yes.
It's
cringe.
It's furry.
Child porn is fine if it's cringe.
Look, I already said.
You think it's child porn, and you posted. You think it's fine if it's cringe. Child porn for you is fine if it's cringe.
You're being disingenuous here.
That's literally what you're saying.
That's literally what you're saying. Nobody thinks that. Nobody agrees with you.
This one from in the live chat. Chinese symbols that I don't understand. Thank you very much for your question. Says, ask the first guy, LP, if furries and animals are the same by his logic.
Like is furry porn is it? I don't think looking at looking at furry porn doesn't make you a pedophile. It makes you a zoophile, which means you want to fuck animals. And anecdotally speaking, you have stories in the media of like manga collectors who get busted with child porn or get busted.
Okay, so you're both children.
Hold on. Listen. And then you have these furries or these furries who get busted like fucking their dog or doing bestialities. And those are just anecdotes, but it seems to be the people who like the drawings of children end up. When they are busted, it ends up being over child porn shit, and the people who are into the drawing, they end up fucking animals. That comes out, so there does seem to be a correlation there, anecdotally speaking.
Oh well, at least we can see it the way we see it. So that's something. He agrees with our funny argument, funny furry argument.
So you're a zoophile and a pedophile, okay.
You got it. This one comes from,
come on.
Appreciate your question. Nicolo Diamo says, Brap and Nighttime Lime says, how cute is funny oomphy? What does it mean?
It's very cute and funny. I just need to know that. I love cute and funny.
God damn it, people.
Can I talk about something really, really quick?
Sure.
Is it possible? There is a case of somebody called Melody Duchesne in Ohio. She got 60 days in jail for damages and aggression because she was in a drive-thru for McDonald's and she aggressed some people and attacked people because they wouldn't serve her chicken nuggets. And while she was doing that, she said and screamed, "I will go Super Saiyan." That's referencing Dragon Ball Z. So technically, it is an anecdotal to show that Dragon Ball Z would have to be banned because there is somebody who was inspired for Dragon Ball Z to committing something in real life, violent act.
I agree. All anime should be banned. I completely agree.
Based. Ban anime. Ban all anime. Ban that shit. I think he's trolling.
It's for the common good.
Bro. Oh, Jesus.
This one coming in from Mike says, for both LP and Evad, thank you very much for the debate. I really appreciate your time. That's positive. Appreciate your positivity, Mike. This one coming in from Komoribi says, would that mean video games is real murder?
Oh, here's the argument. Okay, let's hear it.
Or that furries want to hurt real animals?
Yeah, so the video game, and in my opening statement, I referenced like they have a bunch of bad arguments. This is an example of the really bad arguments. They like to say like, oh, you think playing GTA is going to make, people go out and commit murder. First of all, the reason I hate lolicon isn't because I think it's going to make you go out and molest a child. Even if I knew 100% guaranteed it wasn't going to, you're still like masturbating to a drawing of a child, so it's still morally wrong and repugnant and disgusting what you're doing, regardless of anything else that it may or may not lead to. Second of all, the argument about video games is a really terrible false equivalency because, people like, masturbating to porn is a substitution for sex. That's why they want to have sex, they want to come, they don't have somebody to have sex with, so they jerk off to porn instead. People play video games because they want to have fun. If you're pulling your pud to a porn video and a genie pops out and asks you if you want to have sex with a girl, a lot of people would say yes. But if you had the same situation with Grand Theft Auto, it's like, do you want to go out and murder people? And you won't get caught. You'll never face any repercussions, but you will be killing real people and their loved ones will have their lives destroyed. The average person is going to say, no, I'm good. I'll stick with the video game. So this entire argument that if you think lolicons are pedophiles, you think GTA should be banned because it makes people want to murder. It's predicated on the idea that people are as interested in committing murder as they are in having sex with a porn star. But I think you'll find in reality, people are a little bit more interested in having sex with porn stars than they are in committing murder.
I think this is a good answer. It is as he says. It is kind of as he says. People who do use porn is using it as a substitution for their sexual needs. But people who kill in video games are not really killing as a substitution for murdering, right? Yes, there are some people who would probably do that, but if we are putting both of them on a scale, there are probably more people who are using porn as a substitute than people who are using GTA as a substitute. So I believe that is a functional argument against that video game. And personally, I also think that video game argument is a little bit overused. It's not very effective. I can see why people are using it, but a little bit further digging, it is not as good as argument as people think it is. I would kind of wish people would stop using it. It's not that good. And he is kind of making a point there. But it is also... if I had a nickel for every time I heard a video game one, I can buy groceries. Yeah, I'd be fucking rich, wouldn't I? But yeah, this entire argument is also based on the scale. Like there are more people who are using it as substitute, as mentioned, yeah. But I will also say that what was it? Right. Let's compare this to a car owner, right? Every Mercedes lover are car lovers to some degree, but not all car lovers are Mercedes lover, right? Would that make sense? Like, everyone who are into loli porn are the kind of porn lover, but not all porn lover are loli lover, and it kind of branched from there. What the fuck am I saying? I'm talking shit. I think the car analogy was a little bit better than the next one I came up with. Fuck that. Let's see. Let's try again. Right. Every rapist have probably consumed porn more than once, while everyone who consume porn are not rapists. Does that work? Does that work better? I fucking sure it. Hope it does.
Let me say something, bro. You just say that you want to ban Dragon Ball for violence, not porn.
I
For
was
violence.
joking
What?
about banning anime. That was a joke.
Yeah, I figured that was a joke. He was talking shit. Come on, David. David, you didn't need to bite on that. God damn it.
A joke. I like to meme
Oh,
about
now we
anime.
backtrack. Okay. Now
Yeah,
backtrack.
you got me. I'm backpedaling. You got me. So I forgot you're autistic. Next time I'm joking,
No.
I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a
Okay,
joke anyway.
okay.
Yeah.
This one coming in from. Let me see. I thought we had one more. Want to say one last blank. Thanks for your question. It says for LP, can attractions against exclusively within fiction? I think they're meaning like, can you have attraction to somebody that's
Dragon Ball
in
tiny
a
penis.
story? For example, can someone be attracted to RAPE in fiction, but not be as if this isn't already demonetized? Say in fiction, but not be attracted to such in a real life situation or content.
This is kind of what I just said. I think that's possible, but it is immoral all the same.
You got it.
Okay, I think I understand his character. He did mention that he don't think that us lollicons are gonna go out and rape. He really don't think that any of us are going to out there and just go fuck around a child. His stance is that it is immorally wrong to even view anything child related bisexual. Like, even if you don't act on it, he will not like you. That's about it. That's what I get. So yeah, I don't think there's much sense to talking to into this guy, or I don't think we can convince him with anything.
Thanks. Nicolo Diamo says, why is I Hypocrite a clout chaser?
It's just in the genes, I guess.
this
Don't blame me. I was born this way, you know. Just like the
come on, we are all clout chasers.
Vad's voice is cute. Also, LP, do you know what obscenity laws are?
Vad's voice is cute. Oomphy voice.
Yeah. We talked about them, the Miller test, all that stuff. Yeah. Obscenity laws, I know they're real, okay, and I know someday they're going to be applied.
Juicy.
When we take this country back.
Want to remind you, folks, our guests are linked in the description. We really do appreciate all of our guests that come on to Modern Day Debate, as they are the lifeblood of the channel. If you haven't yet, and that includes with the podcast, we put our guest links in the podcast. So if you're listening via the podcast right now, you can find both LPs, aka I Hypocrite, and Vad's links in the description box there as well. Folks, if you didn't know, we have a podcast. No ads at all. If you want to drive around town and you have bad...
LP being ableist towards autistic people now. I am autistic. I have lost any and all semblance of respect I may have once had for him. Oh, well, okay.
Ad service here or there, you want to just have smooth listening and not worry about data, hey, you can download the podcast.
Okay, I make fun of autistic people all the time, as much as they make fun of me. I think we can take a jab at you, can't we? I don't know. I think this might be a little bit of an overreaction. But then again, I'm just me.
0 ads. It's a nice little trick. With that, I want to say huge thanks to LP and I Hypocrite, aka Hi Hypocrite, and
Why is his name LP anyway? I don't get it. Is that his actual name?
Evad. It's been a true pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, James. Christ is king, everyone. God is watching
Christ is
you,
king,
so,
yes.
so think about what you're doing.
God's like sexuality.
Oh, he's Christian. Well, I guess that explains a few things. Now it kind of adds up.
This one,
I love
Justin from
Lolis.
Jakowski says, LP being ableist towards autistic people now. I'm autistic. I have lost any and all semblances of respect I may have once had for him.
Yeah, that's
Christ is king. Well, I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're going for. Christianity has their own stories.
fine. I would encourage everybody also to donate to Autism Speaks so that we can cure, we can rid the world of this terrible. That's another terrible affliction we need to deal with is this autism scourge. Okay, so donate to Autism Speaks because they're trying to find a cure.
Oh, he believes you can cure autism. Interesting. And his charity of choice is Autism Speak. I hear very bad things about Autism Speaks. I don't think that's a good idea, my man. But then again, I think they are also Christians, so maybe that's where they align. Yeah.
With that, want to say both of our guests are linked in the description and appreciate you being with us tonight. We have another juicy debate coming up that I mentioned. The topic is still being negotiated, but I can tell you it's going to be a juicy one. Alex Stein and Hunter Avalone, as you can see at the bottom right of your screen. You don't want to miss it. Hit that subscribe button. And with that, I'll be right back in just a moment with an update on other upcoming debates, so stick around.
Peace.
Alright, they're done. There's like 10 minutes of empty space? You see one of your own piece in chat? I don't see who's who. Eco is Pog. David W. Oh, hey, what the
Ladies
fuck?
and gentlemen, want to say thanks so much for being with us. I am absolutely
Oh,
thrilled.
Senti is here. I didn't see that.
Modern Day Debate is a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. We hope you feel welcome no matter what walk of life you are from, folks. We know that there are many of you out there. You are from all over the place, whether it be around
Satan. David, let's go! Let's go, we have Satan on our side!
the world or ideologically. You might be Christian, atheist, you might be lolicon, you might be non-lolicon. I don't know what it's called. Is there a name for non-lolicon? Want to say we hope you feel welcome no matter what walk of life. Modern Day Debate has a vision, in particular to provide a neutral platform so that everybody can make their case on a level playing field. Sometimes it's rough and tumble here. Sometimes the topics are controversial, but at least it's real. In other words, we're willing to explore the topics that the mainstream media doesn't allow or doesn't consider.
Satan oohed and got really angry.
You're listening, you're probably big on ideas. In addition to ideas, some of our values are these. In particular, we want to give everybody a fair shot. Second of all, we want to host, like I said, those topics that might be out there, might be different, novel, things that aren't in the mainstream and that the mainstream maybe won't even touch. But not only that, third, we value competition. We believe in what you might call a natural selection of ideas, where the strongest ideas are going to win out. In particular, at this channel, we believe that you could say if you thought your side is more persuasive or not, it's meaningful. And the reason is because it's a neutral channel. If this was a channel where we were kind of polling for one side and where the moderator kind of took a side and they tried to have one person win over another because they, maybe wanted to see their own side win, that would be pretty lame, right? And it wouldn't be very meaningful if you thought your side won, because you'd be like, well, my side won, but the moderator was kind of helping my side. And the channel is like obviously pro Lolicon or anti-Lolicon or whatever it is. Modern Day Debate takes no position.
Chat is going fucking wild now. Oh my god.
Moderation is neutral. Not only that, but all of our videos are neutral because they're nothing but debates where both sides are represented. There are no, you could say, essay videos where, for example, I might say, here is why Lolicon is good, or here is why Lolicon is bad. No videos like that. It's purely debates here at Modern Day Debate. My name is James. I'm your host. And also want to let you know, my dear friends, there are some people that would say, oh, James, you shouldn't even have hosted a topic like this. Lolicon is too controversial, or you shouldn't host a Lolicon person, or whatever it is. They might want to have what you might call a prohibition on ideas. Namely, they want some ideas to not be allowed. But here we would say, hey, we are going to make sure that we give everybody a fair shot. And thanks so much for your super chat. Just came in. Dagurus Asu Chi. Am I saying it right? Let me know. Thanks for your super chat. Says, I vote Davey win. Thank you very much for your super chat. And want to say, my dear friends, it's important to us to give everybody a fair shot. And like I said, there are some people who are
hacking.
like prohibitionists when it comes to ideas. Some people that would say, no, you can't do that. That's too controversial. It's too naughty. It's too bad, whatever it is. Would somebody please think of the children? But we here at Modern Day Debate have decided we are going to be, you could call us your idea barons. We are going to provide an industry of ideas because you, folks, if you're like me, you like juicy, controversial topics. You like going places where the mainstream won't. And so I've got to tell you, want to say hello to you in the old live chat. G and Nina. Carla, thanks for coming by. I see you there in the old live chat. Satan, thanks for dropping in, as well as Caveman Smash, thanks for dropping in. Fire Rises, glad to have you here, as well as Tentacle, glad you're with us. PGC Net, glad you're here. Noto, glad to have you with us. D-Bomb Ivy, thanks for dropping in. Profane, glad you're here. Constancy, thanks for dropping in, as well as Aiko, thanks for being here. Jakowski, good to see you there. As well as DJ Wizzle06, thanks for dropping by. Nanology, glad that you are here. As well as Ronak Zibran, thanks for dropping in. T-Bone, glad to have you. Cool Champ, happy you're here. Milnia Rabu, glad you're with us. As well as Albar Woman and Picat Ryu.
Cool shout out.
Right, let me know. Leonardo, glad to have you here. Amanda, I see you there in the old live chat. Huge thanks to Amanda, folks. When we do our conferences, of which we have done two now, two huge successes. DebateCon is Modern Day Debate's in-person conference. We just did one, was that a week ago, 2 weeks ago? Let me look at this. It was approximately, almost 2 weeks. It was a week and a half ago. Modern Day Debate does our own conferences. Our own. So you've heard of like VidCon, which is kind of like the YouTube one. You've heard of TwitchCon, which is like the Twitch conference. Well, Modern Day Debate has DebateCon. That's our conference, and it is amazing. So if you haven't seen the debates from those, they are crushing it. People have really enjoyed those. You've got to check them out. And Amanda helped us find not only the hotel where the speakers stayed, but also
DebateCon. How about some Lolicon? Ooh. Why don't we have some Lolicon?
I should say this part of the year, because we did our first one in January. Because flight costs are so high, we said, hey, we've got to change it up here. So we went with a new venue, and it was great. It was fantastic. So thank you, Amanda. Seriously. Modern Day Debate is not just a one-person channel. It's true that like my name's on the channel, like I started the channel, but the volunteers that help me, that help Modern Day Debate, that help carry out the vision, they're numerous, and they really do work hard. They're excited about the idea of a neutral platform, just like I am, and just like I bet you out there are, such that Amanda has put in serious time scouting, looking around Dallas, because that's where she's from, and that's where we've hosted our DebateCon conferences, and that's where we're going to host the next one, by the way. April 22nd, my dear friends. It's 99% confirmed, and it's going to be official once we confirm it with the venue. So that's in the talks. But yes, DebateCon 3 is coming, and it's going to be April 22nd. It's going to be huge, guys. But I've got to tell you, as I mentioned, Amanda looked all over Dallas
Bloodsport.
looking for the
Is that the debate topic?
venue because, like I said, flights are so expensive. But we were like, hey,
I haven't seen
flights are really
Bloodsports
expensive.
before.
If we do this
How wild
conference,
can that be?
we're gonna like lose a lot unless we find a more affordable venue. So we found an economical venue. I should say purely Amanda found the venue, and that saved the conference so that it could still happen. Not only that, I've got to say, for real,
Bloodsports.
I'm like just saying this. I'm not.
It's
saying
down here.
it.
It's
I'm
written
saying
there.
it in the most
If
serious
you can
way.
read it.
The volunteers that helped Modern Day Debate, another one being Bob, who helped us set up the Eventbrite, like the online tickets. I am usually so fatigued, I can't do like any. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so wiped out. I can't do anymore. So Bob helped with that. Chris and Kaz and Brian were in person, and not only that, and they helped. They were busting their butts. So I'm super grateful. The conference would not have happened if it wasn't for those volunteers. If like seriously, and then Brian saved lunch. Brian went to get lunch, and Kaz was bringing speakers to the venue. So, like, in the most real way, if one of those volunteers was all of a sudden they just poof, like the Thanos snap, if all of a sudden they disappeared, like, the conference would just break down because we wouldn't have the speakers there. Because Kaz, if he disappeared, we wouldn't have people, the speakers brought to the venue. So all sorts of different ways in which the speakers, or I should say, our volunteers have made this possible. So, and also, though, we've already talked about it, but the speakers are the lifeblood of the channel. They make this channel rock, and so we do appreciate all of our guests. LP and Yvette.
You implying people don't buy American football?
They're linked in the description. And thanks for your support. Jemiah, thanks for your support, says, like the stream. I appreciate that. Seriously, that really means a lot. Hannah Anderson, thanks for your support. I saw that in chat as well. Said, hey, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. I don't know if you know how the notification bell works. Technically, it's a little bit more complex than this, but I'll explain it. You can click the bell, and you can have it give you personalized. In other words, YouTube uses its algorithm to try to predict which videos you want to see. So that's one way to do it. Or you can click no notifications, in which case they don't give you any notifications. Or you can click all, in which case YouTube will give you notifications for everything that you're subscribed to. Except, it's actually a little bit more complex than that. If you click all, but you don't click on the recommendations that YouTube gives you for that channel that you clicked all notifications for, YouTube actually does eventually stop recommending it. They'll stop. I won't say they don't recommend it anymore. They'll still probably recommend it, but they won't give you notifications as often. So that's one thing to be aware of, is because sometimes people in chat are like, James, I don't get notifications anymore. It might be because some debates, and who can blame you? I mean, Modern Day Debate is like a buffet. It's always been like this. Some people like political topics. Some people like religion topics or science topics, whatever. They don't like every topic. And who can blame them? That's fine. But if they don't click on a number of debates for a while, that's why they might not get notifications. So want to let you know about that. But want to say, Leonardo, I see that you're there in the old live chat, as well as good to see you. Riley S., thanks for dropping by. I see you there in the old live chat. Surgeon General, thanks for restarting a Modern Day Debate Discord. Folks, as you know, I'm not able to join the Discord because I'm just running on fumes. I just don't have the bandwidth to be involved with Discord. But Surgeon General and Amanda are working on getting it up to where there is a new Modern Day Debate Discord, which is cool. I'm grateful for that. I hope it's a great community where everybody enjoys it. And so I've got to say thank you to them for providing that community, and we're happy to have the Modern Day Debate name on it because, it's in the spirit of debate. And it's a great place for people to get experience in debating. But Might Guy, thanks for dropping in.
All right,
Rico,
he's uploaded his podcast.
Tohab, glad to have you here. Undead Stormer, thanks for dropping by, as well as Kiroi Karasu. Thanks for coming by.
Is porn bad for society?
Cheese Rabbit,
Wash versus Daniel.
Thanks for dropping in, as well as
Wash, oh my god.
Jerry Lennox.
No thanks. Wash is... No, I don't want to deal with that guy.
BR, thanks for dropping by, as well as
Flat Earth debate.
Hey, thanks for
Oh my god.
I appreciate that. Seriously.
There's a Flat Earth debate.
James, good debate. a member for 2 months. Thanks for renewing your membership. Seriously, that means a lot. And we do have channel memberships. If you love the idea, guys, if you love the vision of providing a neutral platform, hey, feel free to support it. You're welcome to join. We have those memberships. You're always welcome, whether you have a membership or not. So appreciate you guys being with us, as well as Kylo Alpha Tango. Thanks for coming by. Says what James is saying, in other words. James is not responsible for why the followers of Modern Day Debate enjoy his comments and agree with him. Thank you for that. I don't even know what that means, but I'm glad you're here. But I want to say thank you guys seriously for all of your support. T-Bone, glad you're here. And yeah, we appreciate it. Seriously, we've got a Patreon as well. We hardly ever mention that. I always forget. We do have a Patreon, in case you didn't know. It's linked in the description box, as well as maybe you're like, I don't know about Patreon or channel memberships, but we have an Amazon referral link. If you use that Amazon link, if you click on it, and all of our videos have it in the description box, if you click on it and then go buy whatever you were going to buy on Amazon, 2 or 3% of your purchase goes to Modern Day Debate. So hey, that's a way that it's no price increase for you. You pay the same amount as if you didn't click the link. But if you do click the link, Modern Day Debate gets 2 or 3%. So that's another way to support the platform. We appreciate you guys doing that. Want to say thanks for all of your support, you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I've got to get ready for bed because I'm an old man. It's 8:30 here in Mountain Time. But want to say thanks for coming by, guys. Seriously, John, Paul, Matthew, I see you there. Thanks for coming by. Kev Ab, glad you were with us. Goy Child Unlimited, thanks for dropping in, as well as... Did I get everybody? I'm trying to get everybody. PJC Net, thanks for dropping in. Thanks, guys. Seriously, love ya. Thanks for making this fun. We look forward to seeing you at the next debate. There are going to be a lot of juicy ones coming up. So stick around at Modern Day Debate and join us now while we were small, because this channel is just beginning and our story is just getting started. Love you guys, and we'll see you at the next one.
Well, that was fascinating. I think it is important to keep in mind that a debate is, to me, a debate isn't really about winning or losing, right? It's more about just understanding each other, exchanging ideas, and developing new ideas, if it were possible, at least. So I think this entire debate, well, I don't think it was really helpful for him or for us. Maybe we learned a few things of how he feels, but I don't think much came out from this, at least. I learned how he thinks, but I don't think this made any progress on either side. It doesn't seem like we are understanding each other. I don't think those two are really agreeing with anything they're saying to each other. Nothing's really going on there.